Welcome to Stand On It Media. Salute to my Stand On It Media family. Salute to Do Sims, Jael, Damu Kiwe Conversations at Active Chucks. And salute to Spider Loke, the Smokey Show, Smoked Out TV, and of course, Stand On It Media families. Yo, so we're gonna get right to this content, man. I just want to say, this was great work last night in Damu Kiwe Conversations. They were on Clubhouse, but they also went live on YouTube. And this video is a very long video. What I captured was the end of the video. If you want to hear the whole thing, you have to slide over there to Active Chucks to hear. But I encourage you to, because that boy was cooking last night. I just wanted to point out how they broke down in the most simplest terms for those out there who still do not get it, that Wack 100 indeed is CS2 back. I'll explain at the end of the video what my real gripe with all this is, but I won't do y'all like that right now. Let's get to the content.
Is it? You know, we can't. What we say about him, we can't prove. It's gonna be 2 videos. One's 11 minutes, and then the other one would be a video from Scandalous Los Angeles TV. As he, what's up, fuck boy? Salute though, Gaga. I love your crazy ass. Yael said he's sick of your shit though. But nah, we love you, bro. Glad you made it. Let's go. We gonna get into this video.
Dude that spoke on Shaq, he's completely right, because I was caught up in the middle of all that.
Well, first of all, there were no arrests made other than Cash Jones.
Wack 100, most famously known for arguing on Clubhouse, has been exposed as an confidential informant in paperwork recently released by defendant Money Mark and Stutterbox. Before we play the recording of Money Mark, who was the main defendant in this case, confirming Wack is back, let's take a look back to when Wack himself spoke on this case and admitted to meeting with the feds and also saying they owe him a favor.
Once they hit my motherfucking home office, that's when they called the search off. Because the home office then discovered the house and cars and everything they thought was up under my name, that had that living beyond the means excuse to come in there.
How do the feds not check and know what property is up under your name?
Yeah, what made them think they was in your name? What did they look at to make you think it was in your name in the first place?
Bro, the feds cross all they'll sleep with you for years, bro. On the dead homies, that's what the feds' reputation is. They'll sleep with you with years. They'll let you sell dope for years, watching you, control buys, building it up to make sure that when they do drop that hammer on you, you're doing 30 years of life.
And I just want to speak to the people that really come from the hood, who really understand what the hell they're talking about. Tell me when it goes any other kind of way than that. Than what they just explained. How does it go any other kind of way? Tell me, where's the lie at? Tell me in the comment section where the lie at in what they just said.
But let's go. If you believe this, weirdo.
And was all up on the different corporations.
Wack is claiming that FBI did not know his house was not in his name before entering his home, and once they found his paperwork in his home office, they called off the search. How does the FBI not have this information prior to search warrant?
My attorney, we go down to the federal building on Wilshire Boulevard, right up to 405, We go up top. Now I get up top, I'm tripping, nigga. So when I tell the motherfuckers, hey, look, y'all raided my house. Y'all had motherfuckers cuffed up in my house. Y'all did all this shit, you know, and y'all know damn well I was clean. Y'all embarrassed me. This, that. We followed the suit. When we get outside with my attorney, 2 officers that's depicted in there came to the front of me and my attorney said, hey, look, man, let this shit go. This shit gonna fuck. You know, this ain't gonna look good on us. We didn't know you. That boy put us on you, right? But we'll owe you one.
Wack is explaining going down to the federal building tripping and basically the detectives telling him on the spot that Stutterbox told us on you. This seems a little odd that detectives would give up someone who is supposedly working for them name, and also beg to drop the lawsuit and let us owe you a favor. Wack has told this story on several occasions, changing it up a little each time.
When I got up to the top floor, we went to go get my personal belongings, me and my attorney. When I saw the 2 women with that FBI flag jackets come out, that Stutterbox would always invite to dinner when we was eating at Stevie's on the strip. That's when I knew.
2 women officers, right? That he.
Dude, let me say something real quick.
That he said, 1 second. That he said that that Stutterbox would always bring to Stevie's on the strip. What's up, Gaga?
Just because he keeps saying this shit about these 2 women and everything, that's the easiest fair case in the world right there, and that's 8 years. They can get him with conspiracy right there, and they don't need much other than him being with the drug dealer.
Facts.
That's all they need.
And we know that Stutterbox was still doing all kind of shit at that time, and Rolls Royces and all of that. But let's go.
Hey, can I say one thing?
When we
Don't
come off the
overlook
elevator,
obvious.
I see a bunch of people in FBI flag jackets. Guess who one is the person I see? The fucking female from New Orleans that asked about the 5 keys.
Sounds like a scene from Power. Was it 1 or was it 2 woman? Now Wack 100 decides to use his favor the detective promised him and calls it in. Listen to how easy it is for Wack 100 to get the information. These is words coming from Wack, and like he always says, the truth could never be considered disrespect.
I'm sitting back, I call my attorney. I said, hey, yo, call that officer. I need to have a word with him. Yo, didn't you say that Stutterbox is a cooperant for you? Yeah. Documented on paper. Yeah, documented. He's a CI. Been that for 6-7 years. You got the paper and all, whatever y'all use. Yeah, we got that. Okay, yo, contact this dude. Have them call Stutterbox to the stand. Yeah, I called it in that day, and I did sue, but I used the card and that was it.
Stutterbox alleges that Wack 100 was caught on a wiretap with Dale Dog conspiring to commit murder. This is why his house was raided and led him to working with the police's back. Stutterbox explains to Juice M's that Wack gave up his address.
His house got raided because he was on the wiretap with Dog, you know.
What is Mark saying I had to do with the case, bro?
Like, listen, in the paperwork, it said you tried to call Dog, remember?
I tried to
and he
call
won't take
Dog.
your call. I sent it to you. And he said,
I talked to Dog. I talked to Dog. That whole Main Street shit, that was your play. I had nothing to do with it. I was a victim. I was a victim.
There you have it. Wack admitting to being a victim on the case, talking to Dale Dog, and also saying Money Mark was completely right.
The dude that spoke on Shaq, he's completely right, because I was caught up in the middle of all that.
Instantly, DraftKings, you make the playoffs even more exciting. Legendary NFL coach Jim Moore, what do you think?
You kidding me? Instantly? Even if I don't win a playoff game?
Yes, Jim. Even if you don't win a playoff game.
Playoffs?
Playoffs?
Instantly?
Instantly.
Are you kidding me?
Who's calling these plays?
New DraftKings customers get in on the NFL playoff action and turn a $5 bet into $200 instantly in bonus bets. The crown is yours.
Stutterbox said you in my paperwork on wiretap, right?
So Stutterbox confirmed that Wack was included in his paperwork
on the Main Street.
On the Main Street case,
which he wasn't charged. But this guy is saying the only person that was arrested
was Cash Jones.
If Greg's credibility hurts the findings of the entire task force or not?
Well, first of all, there were no arrests made other than Cash Jones.
Hey, when me and Yael shot this, I broke out of witness protection for a couple days. You guys didn't hear that from me though.
That's when you get the discovery was part of that, the actual wiretap, the whole transcript. I got the whole transcript, of the whole wiretap. And do you, in that paperwork, do you see your conversation with,
That's Mark Stevens. That's actually Mark Stevens saying that he has the wiretaps, the whole transcripts of what happened on them wiretaps. Why in the hell would somebody as accomplished as Mark Stevens have to lie? Just ask yourself that. Why would that man have to lie? And he has the paperwork with the transcripts and he shares them and shows them. Wake up, people.
With Cash Jones in the transcript. That was the initiating. When they started recording. Right.
Damn.
And Cash Jones in the paperwork they put him as. Now the paperwork they put him as back. BACK. And right. I kept asking.
Back wiretap.
Boy, the lawyer like, who the fuck is? I ain't talking to no back.
Nasty.
And they said, nah, that's Wack.
Oh.
They put him in back because he a blood. So
wow.
Okay. Was this back also referred as confidential source number 2? Yes, sir. Correct. Well,
that's nasty work. We don't even need to play no more of that. You got.
And I want to stop it right there with the back and the Wack thing. Me personally, I assumed that they did it because he was a gang member and he was still working. So of course they're not going to put back in. They're not going to put Wack in there, especially if he's working. So I thought that they flipped it and put back. But what it sounds like you'll hear it in this audio is it might have been a typo. Then that's when the comments, because I've caught a few cases, unfortunately, in my day. Oh my God, how many misspells and incorrect spelling words and all type of stuff being paperwork. It's not like bulletproof like people think. So that makes all the sense to me in the world. But let's go.
Now with the homie stutter box. That's how I first came to meet Wack, was through the homie stutter box. Right? When I met him, dude was driving trucks. Seemed to be cool. Box was like, yo, this was his neighbor across the street. He seemed to be cool. When Stutterbox defected, Wack picked up the phone and was basically being the interim, the middleman, because he was telling me Stutterbox was defected. And I was like, okay. But my whole thing is, if he defected, why are you fucking with him? Right. So he says that Stutterbox defected, and then you get some phone calls asking.
Mark Stevens says to Wack, to himself probably, if Stutterbox is defected, meaning if he's an informant, if he's spoiled like rotten milk, right? Why are you dealing with him? If you're a street dude, right? You're a street dude. You warning me that this dude is an informant, but you deal with him. Why would you do that?
To speak to someone else, right? Yeah, he called me. He called me, man. It was a series of calls, 4 or 5 calls. He wanted to reach out to the homie, rest in peace, Dale, though. And I don't give out nobody mad. Right. So I called the homie. Dale, dog, I'm like, yo, homie, you want to holler at this dude or what? Because he keep calling me. And he was like, nah, I'm good on that. I don't want to holler at dude. So at some point, you get a...
you don't want to do no hollering?
Wack Cash Jones.
Hell no.
And when he contacted you, what did he contact you concerning? He wanted to reach out to Dale Dog, rest in peace. And he wanted to give Dale Dog some information that he had gotten from Stutterbox, right? it's like he was getting information from Stutterbox on what his plan was and what the get down was going to be, and he wanted to talk to the homie and talk to him, and Dog wasn't getting on the line with him, and he kept blowing me up because he wanted me to get him on the line.
Smart man. Rest in peace to Del Dog, man. So he's talking about the phones is being compromised. Is that one of the things that he told you?
Well, the homie Del Dog never trusted dude. So Dog didn't know was the lines compromised or was they wired up for sound or not. He just wasn't going to chance it.
Now let's jump into two more situations Wack 100 himself discussed about his encounters with the FBI.
Feds just called my phone 2 hours ago. I seen the shit, right? Wow. So first, I've been trying to get game passport cleared. I said maybe it's.
So that's enough of the documentary. But he does a lot of police shit. So he's saying that he's on the Main Street case. He saved 7 Main Streets, including Shaquille O'Neal and Mark Stevens. And he never thought that somebody would check somebody that Mark Stevens, who is a millionaire sports agent, would even stoop to the level to clarify the facts and the record for the people of what went on. And he underestimated my perseverance, my fortitude and drive to expose this bitch.
Right where Deuce Sims just said, remember what I said earlier? Mark Stevens, an accomplished millionaire, right? He done went on with his life. You know what I mean? He's gone on with his life. Why would he need to come back and do that? You know why? Because he was real good friends with Big U, and he's seen the hate campaign that Wack 100 was on, the smear campaign that Wack 100 was on. And he didn't like that. He didn't appreciate knowing that that man was a rat. That is a fact.
After he said I was a rat.
Hey, Deucean.
Yeah.
In the chat, they saying this needs to go viral. You mind letting them know what happened when it was going viral and why it's not currently viral?
Oh, so for those who don't know, that video did go viral. I released it on World Star Hip Hop. In 4 days on the World Star Hip Hop server alone, it did 3 million views as a premiere on World Star Hip Hop. Wack 100 reported, had his attorneys reported and to World Star Hip Hop claiming defamation of character. They're currently in litigation. Last I heard, World Star filed the motion to dismiss the allegations of defamation, meaning World Star is saying that they are not liable and that it isn't defamation. But he's not talking about that. But yeah, it was on all platforms. It's currently on my channel, Active Chucks on YouTube. But yeah, I'm also dealing with litigation against World Star Hip Hop and Wack 100 right now for even questioning my journalistic reputation after I went interview the victim, which was Stutterbox, allegedly kidnapped at the behest, if you believe it, of Shaquille O'Neal, right? By some Crips from his neighborhood, right? Snatched out his Rolls Royce on Sunset Boulevard, taken to South Central to a spot where he was allegedly beaten, robbed, stripped of his Rolex, his jewelry, and all of that, and told to go get the tape, which he claimed he had of Shaquille O'Neal having sex with a woman, not his wife.
So is this
right?
is that the documented start of his getting all in between Keyway business and politics? Is that where we can kind of like mark the beginning?
That's about as far as my investigation has led me at where that began. You know what I'm saying? But so when this all came out though, and Wack did that, he said that it's lying, the paperwork is fake. So he brought Greg Kading, representing Greg Kading as the lead investigator and detective on that case, which was Cap. Greg Kading was the lead investigator and detective in the Biggie Smalls and Tupac murder investigations. But he did help federalize the case, so he was familiar with some of the stuff. Him and his partner, Darren Dupree, who is Wack 100's handler. Let's get to this Scandalous Los Angeles video, and where Wack is saying Duke Sims went and added confidential source 2 back to the wiretap paperwork. We're finna get verification from the person he claims was the lead investigator of what the paperwork actually said when Scandalous Los Angeles contact Greg Kading. Then we gonna open up, people could chop it up, and then we gonna close this. But let's go.
Now, what he said was, I remember this too. I was on Clubhouse around this time. When it first came out, he was saying that the paperwork was fake and that Duke Sims and Yayo added CS2 back to the paperwork. Not that it was spelled CS2 back, that they added CS2 back to the paperwork, meaning that it wasn't there. Like the real paperwork does not say or have CS2 back in it. That is a fact. Wack said that they added that to the paperwork. That was not in the paperwork or the original paperwork. The actual paperwork does not. That's what Wack is essentially saying. I know y'all like, shut up. But I just want to drill that into your head. What Wack was actually saying was CS2 back was not in the original paperwork at all. Let's go.
Welcome back to Scandalous Los Angeles TV, where we expose the exposers. Today, we're going to let you guys hear what Greg Kading has to say about CS2 back. You're going to hear Greg attempt to shield his confidential source, but you're also going to hear him place Wack directly in the CS2 driver's seat. I'll interject a little throughout the interview, just to point out a few things. Other than that, I'm going to just let it play. Tell me in the comment section what you think. Now, Greg, this isn't about you. This is about Wack. I understand you have to do what you gotta do. But if he can bring you on Clubhouse to tell us all that stuff, I feel I should be able to ask some questions so that people can be informed. So again, this has nothing to do with you. This is about Wack.
Yeah, I get it. No, and again, I'm not trying to get in the middle of whatever bullshit is going on between Wack and whatever bullshit's going on with Starbucks. I don't give a fuck about that beef. Whatever it is, they'll figure it out. I'm just going to tell you investigatively, we would have listed Wack, Cash Jones, in our paperwork. He would have been like target 1, and his phone would have been target 1. And so when we were looking at him, we used particular language in our paperwork. So if we're writing the wiretap affidavit for his phone, we would say Cash Jones, also known as Wack. You were utilizing target number, whatever, which would be his phone. I think it was some 661 phone number. And that's just the language. Nowhere within the paperwork related to the investigation of Cash Jones, was he ever mentioned as a CS or an informant, because he wasn't.
Okay. Now, Greg, we're talking about the case Stutterbox had against Shaquille O'Neal and the 7 Main Street Crips. When Wack brought you on Clubhouse, he asked you what would he have been referred to as in the paperwork.
And then in your paperwork, I don't know. How was I referred to? Was I referred to Wack, Cash Jones? They have this Back name. I don't know who the fuck Back is. I don't know. I know I've never had that moniker, but I don't know. Maybe it was some coded shit. Or how did you recall referring to me through all the paperwork when you guys were like listening in on my wiretaps? So like saying, okay, this is Wack, this is Cash Jones on the wiretap. What was I referred to in your, because I've never looked over that paperwork, never had a need to. What was I referred to?
If Wack had nothing to do with Del Dog, Shaq, or any of the Main Street Crips, why would his name be being referred to in the paperwork at all?
So again, this is completely different investigation. We have to be real careful that we don't cross over these ideas, because when I said he would have been mentioned in the paperwork. If we're talking about Cash Jones's case, then we may have mentioned a CS, which would have been Stutterbox, saying these things about Cash that we investigated. There's that. Now, if Cash is asking me if his name was in the Main Street case, no, it wasn't. Now, if Cash is asking me if his name was in the Main Street case, no, it wasn't.
So we all know that Greg is not being truthful when he says that.
Let me blow this up for y'all real quick. This is how you know that a police officer is obligated to protect a 137 confidential source. I mean, a police can't even tell the judge the identity of a 137 confidential source because they will never even testify. They provide information leading to bust. Well, Cash, he just said that Cash Jones' name was nowhere in the Main Street case except one place, which we're finna get to that. But if you look right here, you say he believed this because several months ago, he received a phone call from Robert Ross's brother, that's Stutterbox's brother, and recording artist Ray J, telling him that Ross had been beaten up. Mark Stevens, this is Mark Stevens' statement to the police officer. The target of the investigation, Shaquille O'Neal and Mark Stevens. Stevens later said he received calls from Ross's brother and Cash Jones. Stevens claimed no knowledge of a kidnapping. Then if you go down to the bottom, within the next couple of months, Stevens received a voicemail message from Ross stating, "I need to talk to you, man. The big fella, he's slipping. He's making a lot of mistakes." Soon after, Stevens received a call from Cash Jones. Jones told him that Ross had a videotape of Shaquille O'Neal having sex with a woman, not his wife, and Ross at Ross's home, and that Ross could take the tape to TMZ and get a lot of money. Who else is famous for saying, "I got the tape"?
Again, forget your biases, man. I'm forgetting mine. Come on, people, use your brain. Who else says, "I got the tape," or I'm the one that's been preventing the tape from coming out? Didn't he just do that? Try to do that to Drake and his team? The extortion tape? Didn't he do the same thing to Kanye West with the Kardashian tape? Who else is notoriously known for using tapes to extort people? The Nipsey Hussle tape, alleged tape. Use your brain, people. And this is being read directly from the paperwork that you can go look up yourself, by the way.
Right. Who else would say that I got the tape and try to run an extortion move on Shaquille O'Neal? And remember, he's riding with Stutterbox, his neighbor. But just so y'all know, Greg Kading is being less than forthcoming and even went so far as to lie about Wack's participation. The whole investigation into the kidnapping of Robert Ross, Stutterbox, all goes back to a bad business deal with Ray J signing to Deja 34 record label. Hold on. Diamond, you done went to sleep while we live. That's crazy, bro. But let's get back to the content.
We can clearly see Wack's government name, Cash Jones, all in this case. Hey, Christopher Loves Boys. This shows you why you can't believe everything the police say. This also shows you that the police are protecting Wack, as they would any other confidential informant that's in good standing with them, unlike Stutterbox. But I want you to hear what Greg says right after he said Wack was not in the Main Street case at all.
There was no mention of Cash in the Main Street case. There was no mention of Cash in the Main Street case, other than when he's trying to get a hold of Mark Stevens and in order to tell him that the box has been compromised.
That's it, right?
Now he's admitting that, but he's lied because we just showed you somewhere else where they talked about Wack, right? But he's talking about the wiretap when he tried to call Mark Stevens to tell him that Stutterbox went sour, that Stutterbox was cooperating.
Remember what Mark Stevens said. The initiating started right there when that call was made. The initiating, meaning Wack was wired for sound.
After we finish this last little part, I'm going to get into that paperwork and we're going to break that shit down. It's only one page that I'm going to show y'all today. And let's go.
Yeah, and that's what the wiretap transcript said CS2 Back, or Wack, was calling Del Dog to do. Not Del Dog, but Mark Stevens.
See what you just did, though?
Yeah, I said Del Dog.
You said CS2 Wack. It doesn't say that, does it?
Yes, it does.
Doesn't it say CS2 Back?
Yes, it says CS.
Wait, what did Greg Kading, Spider-Lo, what did Greg Kading just say that the paperwork, he said, doesn't the paperwork say what?
CS2 Back.
He said Del Dog.
You said CS2 Wack. It doesn't say that, does it?
Yes, it does.
Doesn't it say CS2 Back?
Yes, it says CS2 Back.
So
he said, doesn't it say CS2 Back? Doesn't the paperwork say CS2 Back? Remember what I said earlier when Wack 100 in the beginning on Clubhouse, he said the paperwork that Deuce Sims had that had CS2 Back in it was fake paper, was fake. I'm sorry, because this shit annoys me how people don't get it. He said that the CS2 Back paperwork was fake. That Deuce Sims and them added that to the paperwork. That's not what Greg Kading just said. Let's go.
We all agree that the federal paperwork, that the lead investigator who federalized the case, the federal wiretap paperwork, says CS2 Back is this person that's on the call. So watch this.
Okay, well, you know what you just said?
What did I say?
CS2 Wack.
I meant CS2 Back.
Because in your mind, and bear with me, no offense here, but I think you've already come to the conclusion that Back is Wack, and that's why that's such an easy mistake to make.
Well, the reason I think Wack is CS2 Back is because that's who Mark Stevens said he was talking to.
Nobody's disputing that. Nobody's disputing that Mark Stevens is saying that Wack is who he was talking to.
But he's saying that that's Back. He is saying that Back is Wack.
How does Mark Stevens put that together? Show me how much.
So he doesn't deny that Wack 100 is the person on the phone, or he doesn't say that Mark Stevens is lying, that that's who's on the phone. He wants to try to spin and contest, how did Mark Stevens determine that person who was on the phone with him was CS2 Back? How you gonna question the man who knows damn well who called him and told him that the phones is tapped?
That's a fact, Deuce. Let me give y'all a scenario. That's like if I stick my hands in, or you stick your hand in the cookie jar, you steal a couple cookies and you eat the cookies. I know that I see the crumbs on your hands. I see the crumb trail that leads to you, but I did not see you with the cookie in your hand eating it. So that doesn't mean that means you didn't eat the cookie. I see the crumbs on your face. I see the crumbs on your hand. I see the crumbs leading from the cookie jar to where you're sitting. But because I didn't see you grab them and eat them, that means it's not true. Come on, people, wake the hell up.
Who called him and told him that Stutterbox went bad. Let's go.
Mark Stevens has anything to substantiate that Back is Wack.
In the paperwork, they put him as Back. BACK, and I kept asking the lawyer, like, who the fuck is? I ain't talked to no Back, and they said, nah, that's Wack, but they put him as Back because he a blood, so it's Back. And I said, oh, okay.
And was this Back also referred as confidential source number 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so no offense to Mark, he doesn't know any better. But when we're writing official police reports, we don't play the game. we don't change language or change spelling because we are, part of the gang culture. Where we're not going to put Wack. We're going to put Back because he's a blood, not a crip, and we don't. That's not how we operate. We don't. That's gang shit. We don't write as gangsters. We write as police officers and try to be as specific as possible.
Greg is saying they try to be as specific as possible, and that they don't do things like that. But we're all looking at a wiretap transcript where they did exactly that. They put a person named Back in the paperwork, and no one knows who Back is.
We don't change things in order to. So if Mark Stevens is thinking that, oh man, the cops just put this in there this way because he's a blood and not a crip, it's not how it works.
I hear you, Greg. But even without them doing that, the conversation with Mark Stevens and Del Dog did actually take place. And Mark Stevens is saying the person who called him looking for Del Dog's phone number was Wack. Mark said he doesn't know anyone named Back. So why would they put some fake person that Mark has never ever talked to in the transcripts?
No, I get that. See, we are totally in agreement. The conversation is Wack. Obviously, the conversation is Wack.
If the conversation is Wack, and the whole argument is the person, whoever CS2 Back is a confidential source. Whoever CS2 Back is a confidential source, and you're saying we're not disputing that CS2 Back is Wack. What the hell are we even talking about? What are you? I understand that you have to defend him, but you got caught red-handed, Greg Kading. We all knew you was crooked as hell. Don't get it twisted. But we didn't see this coming. People, wake the hell up, man.
Obviously.
The conversation is Wack. Obviously. The paperwork says that the person on the wiretap calling Mark Stevens is CS2 Back. Wack 100 is the person on the wiretap calling Mark Stevens. So that means that Wack 100 is CS2 Back. Let me get to the one page of the document. As a matter of fact, I'm going to just read all three of those little documents because we going to flame his bitch ass up like them fires in California right now. So, it says, Dale tells Stevens, here's the case number is right up here, session number, this is the session of the wiretaps to the Main Street case. Dale tells Stevens that your boy Box went sour. CS2 Back wants Dale's phone number. Back needs to talk to Dale. It's important. Dale talks about Box incident. This is their summary. And Back wanting to talk to Dale. Mafia talk. And someone talking too much. Box with a question mark. Sounds like Back has info on Box. That means Back has information on Stutterbox and talk about. So we know Back is not Stutterbox, right? We know Back is not Mark Stevens. This is easy elimination. We know Back is not Dale Dog, right? So the only other person that's on this page that Back could be is who what Greg Kading just said Back was. The caller was.
Bingo.
100. Cash Jones.
Bingo.
Dude, Back is calling on another.
Yo, salute to Do Sims and Jael Damukiwe conversations, man. Man, salute to y'all for doing this last night, man. Y'all, you broke this down so eloquently, I have to add. And Spider Loc throwing in doing his ad-lib. Salute to that. Because man, listen, anybody that I see or know that talks to that dude, I don't want to have any communication with any of you people, anybody that is connected to that tree, because you got to be one of the dumbest people in the world not to see that man is the police. I feel stupid when I didn't have the information. I'm not going to be stupid with the information and still think that man ain't working and still working. Boy, y'all simple-minded. Some people are sheep and others are just wolves. Let's go.
Lying to Mark. So this call is to Mark Stevens. Well, Wack doesn't get involved. He's nowhere in the case until he tries to call Mark Stevens. This is what Greg Kading said to get in contact with Del Dog and tell him that Stutterbox went foul. Mark Stevens hit me about 3 times. He want me to give him your number, so I was calling to clear with you first before I give him your number. He called me and I'm cool. I'm cool on that, brother. This is Del Dog. Mark Stevens. Oh, okay. So you don't want, all right. So you don't want to do no holler? All right, Del Dog, changing the subject, right? What's up with you though, man? Mark Stevens kind of baffled, like, damn, I got this nigga on the other line. Well, we'll talk, man. You know, I just need to know, man, you when I talk to Back, I'm just gonna tell that nigga, man, oh man. Well, you know, homie, you been on the phone with Dude, meaning Stutterbox, and you know, Shame, you know what I'm saying? You right, man. No telling what lies he told a nigga on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Del Dog. And then though, when you call the dude, you make the dude talk about certain stuff on the horn, you know? You know that's what they got going on. They meaning Back, which is Wack 100, and Stutterbox, who they already know that went sour. They're trying to get us on the phone. So get them talking on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they
Dog was for sure not to incriminate himself just in case he's being recorded. Know what kind of lies they said. You feel me? You know, they might be lying on us. Not just talking, lying on us. Yeah. He was on his toe.
Right. I ain't got no time for this, dude. You Mark Stevens. I mean, you know, that's good information. See, now I know how to, like I said, I ain't helping the Wack boy in a minute. You know what I'm saying? He called me out of the blue yesterday. Not yesterday, yeah. Last night, left me 2 messages, and this morning. And I just need to know how to play it cool. You know what I'm saying? Del Dog. Nigga probably said, man, nigga going to jail, you know? Laughing. Niggas start laughing, right? But remember, the person calling is Back. Right here, it tells you he's saying that Stutterbox went bad, went sour. Well, Wack says Stutterbox told on him. So you're saying that Stutterbox went sour. And CS2 Back, why is the people's referring to you as confidential source number 2, bro? Why? We don't have to make this more complicated than it is. CS2 Back is not calling Mark Stevens. I mean, Mark Stevens can't be CS2 Back because he's taking the call from CS2 Back. And he's calling Del Dog, telling them, and they're talking about CS2 Back. And they're not talking about Stutterbox because CS2 Back is saying that Stutterbox went sour. So it's not Stutterbox, it's not Del Dog, it's not Mark Stevens. Who is the other person on this call?
And who is the Wack boy? When he says, I haven't talked to the Wack boy in a minute, who else who the hell do you think he's talking about, y'all? Who is the Wack boy? My God, bro. People dumb. I'm straight up saying it. Y'all need to pick a side. Pick a side. We drawing a line in the sand. It's time to choose a side. If you on that side, you with the rats, man. You really with the rats. If you continue to support that bullshit over there, you supporting the rats. that are out here ratting and extorting our people. Stupid.
That they're talking about. Cash McElroy Jones. I'm gonna close that right there, man. Confidential source, bro. That's what we dealing with.
That's a fact.
Crazy.
Anybody?
Good work. So look, I'm gonna stop it right here, and I'm gonna play the ending of this real quick, and I want y'all to listen to this because I don't know who the white brother is. That I think he's white. Don't let me get the claiming something that I'm not sure, but he sounds white. But listen to him very carefully. They're all going to, give their point of views on what they all just heard. Essentially, Henny Gang, salute to you. Everybody gives their point of views and what they just heard and et cetera, et cetera. But listen to what he says, though, man. Y'all got to wake up, man. Let's go.
To understand what was just broken down before them is just doing that. You're choosing to ignore facts. You can't fight paperwork. Right. It's in black and white. You can't fight recordings. You heard it. Now y'all keep going over there to them exposers and getting exposed if you.
1 second, Lou. You can go next. You finished, Henny?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, what you was gonna say, Lou?
Excuse me, honey. Sorry, I thought you were done, honey. Yeah, you can't fight. This is like real simple, bro. In the first clip, he said they came in and they stopped the warrant because they found out he didn't own the shit. All you guys have seen warrants. It's either place of residence or place of business. So the fact that he was there in person makes the warrant valid regardless who owns the place. Second, if it was a money laundering thing and they were looking for who owned the place, he admitted and he said, I had paperwork in my office, which he admitted is his office, place of business. I had paperwork in my office showing who the owner was. Well, you all know if you had a money case, that would indicate control. Why does anybody who's leasing or renting an office have paperwork indicating who owns the place? They would take that as an indication of control and that owner was a straw man. So warrant's still valid. The second thing he said that was really gave it away is after he said he had a lawyer 3 times on that clip and his lawyer called and his lawyer this and that, he said the feds called my phone 2 hours ago. If you got a lawyer, the feds can't call your phone, motherfucker. End of story. Like, unless you're working with them. So this dude's already given himself up all the way. And yeah, the explanation that you just gave on the paperwork is 100% true. And yes, cops are people. Sometimes they get lazy. We all know if you've ever fought them, they fuck up sometimes. Because when you fight, you find their fuck ups and that's how you make it. So yeah, they changed the W to a B. That's exactly. Something a lazy cop making a lazy mistake would do. That's all I got.
Well, heard it wrong on a wiretap because it wasn't said clear. That's what I see.
Right. And the coldest point was, who knows what all? Well, it's obvious working with Greg Kading that it was pertaining to the Biggie investigation. Because if you watch the movie Hip Hop, what's that movie that they made? Unsolved. Hip Hop. If you watch Hip Hop,
they changed Wack 100's name in that video to Alonzo Zoe Scott. And remember, go look at Active Chucks. They put up the audio where they interviewed Reggie Wright. Reggie Wright said they changed 2 names in that movie. Stutterbox name, Wack 100's name. And the character that is really Wack 100 in that movie is Alonzo Zoe Scott. Facts. Reggie Wright said that.
Unsolved, they talk about the dude from Snowfall, Uncle, what was it, Jerome? Uncle Jerome from Snowfall playing Stutterbox, the same Stutterbox who was on this case that they were talking about went sour, right? He pulls up in his Rolls Royce to meet with the federal agent and Greg Kading and Darren Dupree. And when he pulls up to meet him, he's telling them, yeah, I got some good information. He said, well, what information do you got on Suge Knight? He said, it ain't about music. He's moving dope up and down the coast with that trucker guy of his. If you get that trucker guy, you'll be able to squeeze him on information that he has pertaining to Suge Knight, and that's how you'll get Suge, right? So That's when they put the tracker on Wack 100's truck. That's when they tapped Wack 100's phone. That's when they raided Wack 100 house. And that's when Wack 100 ended up going 2 days after they raided his house to the federal building on Wilshire and Sepulveda, which I never knew it was there. I always thought you would go to Spring Street or you go to MDCLA, Royal Ball or something like that. But he went there, right, with a lawyer, he said, to pick up his property from a home that he been arguing and claiming he was going to sue because they embarrass his family and he doesn't live there. How can you claim property from a home that you are arguing you don't live at?
Presence is enough for a warrant, right? And the other thing is, I heard y'all talking earlier about this dude sticking his nose in all kind of areas and stuff that he ain't got no business in. Now, I ain't never been in a gang. I ain't from the street, but I moved a little weight back and forth across the Atlantic. And when people are
a little weight
sticking their nose in shit that don't matter, that they don't need to know to perform the job, that motherfucker's hot. Period. End of story. Because anybody who's really playing the game, all they need to know is the information required to perform the function. Period. Yeah, well, I meant a little weight to the trash. Like, I've swept up more shit when I...
Did y'all understand what he just said? If you are acquiring information when we doing the type of jobs that don't require all that information, you're hot. Anybody with common sense and been in the game understands that. At the top level, and sometimes even in the lower level, you don't get to ask no extra questions. You just ask about what the job assignment is, when, where, what time. Okay, it and out. Nothing outside of that. When you get to talking and asking questions and acquiring about stuff that don't have that's extra, don't have pertain to what the mission is, you're hot. So this is for those who don't know and you're thinking about doing something stupid, because I'm not advocating for that at all. But if you do, that's what you do. Use your brain. If they're acquiring more than what the actual mission is, they're probably wired for sound.
I was done packing than that fool ever moved in his life. That's what I meant by little. So that's just what it is. And anybody who's really played the game at the level that this dude and that fucking active Adam, or fuck Mr. Bicycle in Connecticut is talking, I don't even know what that fool's on about. Right? Whenever people are claiming to have moved and played the game at that level, you know that. So even me, and it was my organization, I didn't ask questions of other organizations that I didn't need to know the answer of. And when me and Dusem were spending time together, you don't ask private questions.
Fact.
Unless you're hot. Period. You only need to know what you need to know. And you don't really want to know anything else because you don't want to be a suspect if any shit happens.
Right. Trying to jump on somebody else's face. That's what's going on.
To that.
Yael, you got anything to say?
Salute to that. So that's the end of that clip, man. And like I said in the beginning, let me tell you why this whole situation really bothers me, right? It's this, right? Hold on, y'all. We're gonna just do it like that. This is why this bothers me. And it really bothers me. Because at the end of the day, Cash Jones, you not like that. You never were like that. You never were like that. You are not like that. You talk a lot of shit on the app, on every other social media platform about you being like that, and you really ain't like that. And you know what's sad? I don't have an issue with you not being like that. But why do you want to spew that bullshit into our communities as if you're like that? But you're really not like that. But you want to confuse these babies, the next generation, coming up to convince them that you like that and they can be like that too. No, they cannot be, because you're not like that. You don't give a damn about the community at all. Not whatsoever. You have sold your soul to the community a long, long time ago, brother. See, when the devil's chickens come home to roost, what Malcolm X famously said, that's exactly what this is right here. The chickens have come home to roost. You are being exposed at an all-time high. Now, I don't know if this is going to affect you in any way, collectively, with your dealings with law enforcement or not. I can really care less. Long as our people are informed, long as the information is out there, is what I care about. So salute to Damu Kiwe Conversations. Salute to them for staying on their job, right? Making this their mission to really expose this fraud for who he truly is, a fraud. He's an informant. He's a liar. He's a fake. He's a narcissist. He's scum. Wack 100 literally is scum. I hate the fact that you sit out here and act ignorant and put out negative energy into this universe when you could be using your platform, your voice for good. You can be really showing these kids there's another way to be and survive and make it in this world. But instead you want to play gangster all day. And the truth of the matter is you are far from it. You are an officer. You are an informant, and you're proud of it. You love what you do. I'm telling you, you have glee in your face and in the way you talk about certain things when it comes to law enforcement. Listen to his conversation, people. The way he says certain things. The way he goes and pulls up information. How on earth is he finding and getting all this information so easy like he does? He's working, people. Wake the hell up. That's it. I stand on the media. Salute to everybody out there. Salute to Damu Kiwe Conversations. Salute to Spiderload. Man, salute to the team. ETE, expose the exposers. ETD, expose the debriefers. We out.